He went off a bit of money as well. But sure, that's nice to hear there. I just had a couple more questions as regards budget, budget issues.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem that we had with budget issues was, I'm back to your leaflet now, and I may be asking a stupid question here, Jane, but
no, you're not. Go ahead.
We have a question here that says, would you have voted no to the bank bailouts? And you've ticked no. Now, do you mean that you would have voted for the bank bailouts, or you would have voted against the bank bailouts? Yeah?
No, I would have voted against them. I would be for much more control. You see, my whole brief on the whole banking system is that it's a fraud.
You believe that the entire banking system is a fraud, Jane, do you?
Yeah, it is, because you see, the banks create money out of fresh tin air. They don't really have anything to back it whatsoever.
Oh, go on, yeah.
I mean, they like to pretend they have, but they haven't.
You mean that they don't? You mean that they haven't backed this money in any sort of gold or silver backed currency?
Exactly. They're allowed to borrow many percent above what they're supposed to have. In fact, I think they no longer care. I mean, if they want to give money to something, they do, and if they don't, they won't.
That's right there.
The whole banking fraud was a setup to bring the country to where it is.
Oh, you think it was a sort of a malicious thing rather than a sort of a glorious accident?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. By people who are not friendly to the general. And what I want is for the government to create the money and control it. And that's why I want a thing called direct democracy brought in, because that will give the people the opportunity to control the government very closely and tightly.
And presumably as well, so gives them the opportunity to control the banks, rather than the banks controlling us.
Exactly. The government must control everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And what I must add to that is that the people must control the government. That's why I want direct democracy. Because if the government is doing anything stupid, I want the people to be, with 70,000 signatures, to be able to demand a referendum to stop them.
You're right,
the people of Ireland to vote and say, no, you can't do it, or you can do it, whichever the people decide.
Jane, commit me now, Jane. I just want to ask another question here.
Sure.
We had a bit of contact now with some of the fellows from Shelter C last week. I was just wondering where you stood on the issue of the last but 5 in the Shelter C and the whole debacle there.
I would be for Ireland getting back her natural resources.
Getting back the natural resources.
To have total control of our fishing.
Because, I was just going to say to you, Jane, there's a few people saying, that we don't need the last pot gas field because, isn't the global warming coming and so on that destroy us anyway?
I don't all that stuff at all. I mean,
you wouldn't be an advocate of global warming, no?
No, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I wouldn't be. I'd be less concerned about global. I think the sun controls the weather, not all the gases that we're supposedly putting up there.
You think it's more of an issue of solar flares than it is an issue of greenhouse gases?
I think. If they want to go and try and control the sun, they can. But I believe it's the sun that drives the weather, not so much the stuff that we're putting up there. Because I'm not saying we should be careless with. I'm not saying we should be. We should have machines that are efficient, as efficient as possible.
Well, I'll tell you now, Jane, I suppose you can't fight against the sun, and I suppose what are we in the face of the sun, is what you're saying,
Nothing.
We're insignificant. Now, I'm just wondering, now, we have another issue, Jane, now, I'll be wrong now, and I wouldn't be one of these, now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea, Jane, I wouldn't be one of these conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, go on.
But I just feel that there are certain things, and my organisation feels, and I'm the deputy editor, my editor, William Brady, he feels that there are certain elements within the story surrounding the event, on 9/11, that there are certain elements which just don't add up. I'm not accusing anyone.
I would say that's definitely true.
I wouldn't be accusing anyone of anything, but there's certain elements within it that just don't add up. They just don't add up.
Even the people, I believe, that were on the original commission are now demanding. They were saying
demanding a new commission, a new investigation. Because the World Trade Center 7, that fell is almost free fall speed.
Oh yeah. I knew. Well, I suspected on the day I saw it. I didn't like Bush's reaction. I thought he had a very peculiar reaction for a man that.
I thought that was a fellow who wanted to go to war.
He was so cool about it, and And when he came on the television, I thought he didn't look serious. Like, if that was me, I'd be furious mad.
Oh, absolutely, Jay, absolutely. No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And there was just one final issue I was going to raise with, and I say, geez, at this point, I mean, it's not me that makes the decision, but I say you'll get our official endorsement for Manano Hussein Hamad. We were going to give him the endorsement, but I say you have the official endorsement of PotC Dublin, and so if you give us an address, we'll send you on a copy. But there's just one final question that I'd like to ask you about, and it's about, the vaccines,
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of vaccines that you're supposed to get, you're supposed to give your child, supposed to protect against the diseases,
Mm-hmm.
But there's been some suspicion about the mercury content in the shops now, and there's been some suspicion that it's linked to things like autism and other diseases like that. What would be your position on that sort of issue at this point?
Well, my personal thing would be that we should be very, very careful what we give children. And I mean extremely careful. I think it should be up to the choice of the parents to do, but they should be given the pros and the cons, and they should be told the pros and the cons, and they should be, allowed to opt out or have single vaccines if they want to have single vaccines. I personally believe that breastfeeding should be encouraged more and for longer, and I think that babies would get a lot of natural immunity and protection that way from diseases.
So you would be more of the opinion that there should be breastfeeding, not vaccination?
I would think, yes, that it would be much better if people concentrated on that and on... I would be encouraging people to be, to look up the pros and the cons.
On the internet, I agree with you, Jamie. It's a first tool for looking up. And I think you have the nomination now. You have the endorsement. I just wanted to draw your attention to something on your leaflets now. If you go for the first part now, the number on your leaflets, the mobile number on your leaflets is a wrong number. It directs me to a man named Owen Murphy. I think he's in Leary, but he's no connection to Clifton Solid House property. And I think you should correct that in any future leaflets. Now, the second part of the problem with the leaflets, on the back of the leaflet.
Who is the Owen Murphy? Who does he say he was from?
He just said it was a wrong number, so I rang the landline number and he connected me to you. But I don't know who he was now. But there's just a problem in the back of the leaflet.
I know there was a lot of mix-up over mobile phone numbers and that. Now, I know my number is not on it, and I know it should have been, but that was, I think, kind of an oversight with the printing and all that, because I wasn't in charge, you see, of personally doing the leaflet. I did a certain amount of it, and somebody else did some of the other.
I suppose, that's fair enough, Jane. I'm not blaming you for the problem.
It wasn't all my work, so, and I was sharing with the
It's just a chain you'd like to, you'd want to correct some stuff on the back, because you have a couple of double negatives on the back, if you know what I mean. You have a couple of double negatives. You have would you have voted no to budget cuts, and you have picked no. Now, if we follow this, there's no rules down that road, John. Jane, I apologise. That means that you would have voted for budget cuts, and I understand that you have been upstanding citizen, but that was
No, I wasn't voting.
You wouldn't have voted for budget cuts, and I understand that, Jane, but you can't assume the intelligence of anyone, and some of them may have assumed you would have voted for budget cuts, and you would have voted for NAMA and the bank bailouts, and I don't assume that, but some people might assume that, and you will want to correct that in your election little show from now on. Sorry, Jane, go ahead.
Some people vote with X's and other people vote with ticks, a little tick.
And
I think the ticks would have been better. But anyway, that's...
I think possibly you should have ticked yes if you were going for the negative, because it was a negative. But anyway, Jane, now we're going to send you on a copy of this now. It should be printed tomorrow morning, which means if we get it in the regular post, you should get it just on election day. But I wouldn't worry, because the potential voters will be voting for you. It'll be a sort of a door-to-door distribution. Now, we can't put it into the door-to-door distribution now. But we get it during the phone call.